I hope that he wasn't scared, that it all happened pretty quickly for him.
Once you get married, all of a sudden it turns out to be a...
Not many musicians can seamlessly fuse pop, folk, and country music into a sound that feels both intimate and universal. Yet, American singer-songwriter John Denver achieved exactly that, carving a place in musical history that remains untouchable decades later. His warm tenor voice, heartfelt lyrics, and ability to capture the beauty of everyday life turned him into an icon of the 1970s. Songs like Take Me Home, Country Roads, Rocky Mountain High, and Leaving on a Jet Plane became anthems for anyone who has ever felt the pull of nature or the comfort of home. But behind the platinum records and sold-out tours was a love story that shaped much of his creative journey. At the center of that story stands Annie Martell Denver, the woman whose quiet presence and steadfast heart inspired some of his most enduring work, most famously the timeless ballad Annie's Song. Their romance began with a chance meeting in a small college town and blossomed into a marriage filled with music, laughter, and eventually heartbreak. To understand John Denver's life and artistry, you must first understand Annie, the muse who became his wife, confidant, and the keeper of a love immortalized in melody. By the time John Denver's star began to rise in the late 1960s, he had already honed his craft as a performer with the folk group, the Chad Mitchell Trio. His gentle acoustic style and lyrical storytelling distinguished him from the era's rock-driven sound, winning over audiences who craved sincerity. When he released Take Me Home, Country Roads in 1971, the song exploded onto the charts and instantly branded him as a voice of pastoral America. The track's success opened doors to television specials, international tours, and collaborations with musical legends. Denver followed it with a string of hits, Sunshine on My Shoulders, Rocky Mountain High, Back Home Again, each infused with his deep reverence for nature and heartfelt optimism. Awards poured in, from multiple Grammy nominations to an Emmy for his variety show. Beyond music, he became an environmental advocate and humanitarian, using fame to spotlight conservation and global hunger issues. Yet amid all the accolades and attention, Denver's heart remained tethered to a love that began long before the bright lights of fame. His relationship with Annie was more than companionship. It was a grounding force that inspired some of the most beautiful songs in his catalog, offering listeners a glimpse into the man behind the melodies. While fans adored John for his music, Annie Martell Denver was the quiet constant who shaped his emotional landscape. To the public, she was often John Denver's wife, but Annie herself possessed a grounded strength and quiet charisma. Born September 6, 1946 in Minnesota to Jim and Norma Martell, Annie grew up in a close-knit Christian household alongside siblings Linda, Terry, and Ben. From an early age, she loved simple pleasures, family gatherings, local church events, and the serenity of Minnesota's lakes. Her down-to-earth nature later balanced the whirlwind life she would share with a rising star. Annie was no stranger to leadership either. Before meeting John, she had ambitions beyond the domestic sphere, studying diligently and considering a future in public service or education. It was this blend of warmth and independence that captivated John Denver when their paths crossed. While the world would eventually see her as the muse behind a chart-topping love song, Annie's own story deserves recognition. She was a partner, mother, and individual who carried her own quiet strength even as fame and music swirled around her. Understanding Annie's character is essential to appreciating the depth of the love story that inspired one of the most cherished ballads of the 20th century, Annie Martell's childhood. Unfolded in the heart of Minnesota, a place defined by crisp winters, sparkling lakes, and strong community ties. Her parents instilled in her the values of faith, hard work, and kindness, qualities that would later help her navigate the complexities of life with a world-famous musician. Annie excelled in school and nurtured a love for literature and music, often singing in church choirs and participating in local events. After graduating from her local high school, she enrolled at Augsburg College in St. Peter, often recalled as Aldous College in stories, eager to pursue a well-rounded education. Friends remember her as approachable and quietly ambitious, someone who carried an air of calm that drew people in. Little did Annie know that a chance encounter during her college years would connect her to a man whose voice would soon echo across the globe. Her upbringing, steeped in family values and a deep appreciation for nature, would later resonate with John Denver's own love for the environment and simple living, creating a foundation for a relationship that felt both destined and effortless. Annie's early life was not about chasing fame. It was about authenticity, a quality that would later inspire John and provide the emotional anchor for their shared journey. The fateful meeting happened in 1966, when Annie was a sophomore and John was performing with the Chad Mitchell Trio at her college. After the show, John joined a small group of students in an impromptu jam session. Annie, helping backstage as the sign girl who carried act cards across the stage, caught his eye immediately. She wore simple blue jeans, a flannel shirt, and penny loafers, an outfit John would remember for years. Their first conversation was brief, but John's charm and Annie's easy laugh left an imprint on both of them. A few months later, they met again, this time with enough space to truly connect. They began exchanging letters, each missive weaving a deeper bond between the young musician constantly on the road and the thoughtful college student rooted in Minnesota. Their courtship was swift but filled with tender moments. Long walks under starlit skies, guitar serenades, and shared dreams of a future built on love and music. Within 9 months, John proposed, captivated by Annie's grounded spirit and gentle humor. On June 9, 1967, they married in a small ceremony surrounded by family and close friends. The speed of their engagement reflected the certainty they felt. In each other, they found not just romance but a sense of home, something John would later immortalize in song. Their early days as newlyweds were humble yet joyous, defined more by handwritten lyrics and quiet evenings than by the fame that was just around the corner. The newly married Denvers began their life together with modest means but overflowing creativity. John was still carving his solo path, and Annie provided steady support, balancing his long stretches on the road with a welcoming home. They shared small apartments, late-night songwriting sessions, and countless camping trips that nourished their mutual love for the outdoors. When John's career accelerated after Take Me Home, Country Roads, their lives shifted dramatically. Television appearances, endless touring, and adoring crowds became routine. Yet Annie remained John's anchor. They made a home in Aspen, Colorado, drawn by the breathtaking mountains and tranquil landscapes. Together, they embraced the rugged beauty of their surroundings, skiing in winter, hiking in summer, and building memories that would seep into John's music. Despite the growing demands of fame, they nurtured their relationship with private rituals, shared breakfasts before flights, letters left on pillows, and impromptu guitar duets on quiet evenings. Annie's quiet presence gave John the balance he needed amid the frenzy of celebrity. Their marriage became a partnership of art and affection, each supporting the other through the highs and lows of a life increasingly lived in the public eye. Among John Denver's many hits, none captures the essence of his love for Annie more than Annie's song. The ballad's origin is as intimate as its melody. In 1973, after a minor quarrel, John went skiing on Aspen Mountain, seeking solitude and a breath of cold mountain air. Riding the Ajax chairlift, surrounded by the stillness of snow-covered peaks, inspiration struck like lightning. Within minutes, the melody and lyrics flowed through him, a declaration of love so pure it felt like a prayer. By the time he returned home, the song was fully formed, written in barely 10 minutes. Annie later shared that the song wasn't born of grand gestures, but of reconciliation and quiet understanding. John once described it as capturing the feeling of complete immersion in love. With lines that compare love to the fullness of mountains and the rushing of rivers, the song is a testament to both Annie and the natural world they cherished. Released the following year, Annie's song soared to the top of the charts, becoming one of John's most enduring successes. For Annie, hearing it was profoundly moving. Even decades later, she admitted that the opening chords still bring tears to her eyes, a bittersweet reminder of a love that, despite its eventual end, was once whole and radiant. The song's lasting popularity speaks not only to John's talent, but also to the universal truth it conveys: that love, when felt deeply, is as vast and sustaining as nature itself. Through Annie's song, their bond became immortal, a melody that continues to resonate with anyone who has ever been swept away by love's beauty. Though they never had biological children, John and Annie longed for a family and chose adoption. They welcomed Zachary John and Anna Kate, cherishing the chance to build a loving household. Aspen provided the perfect backdrop for family life: crisp mountain mornings, endless hiking trails, and a community that valued both privacy and nature. John's career continued to flourish during these years, with sold-out concerts and television specials making him a household name worldwide. Annie managed the delicate balance of raising children while supporting a husband whose career demanded frequent travel. Despite the demanding schedule, the family found joy in simple routines: reading bedtime stories, family ski trips, and music filling every corner of their home. John's environmental activism also deepened during this period, with Annie often participating quietly behind the scenes. Their life, outwardly idyllic, reflected their shared love of the outdoors and commitment to raising their children in a nurturing environment. But as John's fame expanded, the pressures of constant touring and public scrutiny began to weigh on their relationship. The very success that had enabled their beautiful life in Aspen slowly introduced cracks into the foundation of their marriage, setting the stage for the challenges that would eventually test their bond. Fame can be a double-edged sword. For John and Annie, the relentless demands of a thriving music career became increasingly difficult to reconcile with the quiet intimacy they once cherished. John spent long stretches on tour, often away for weeks or months at a time. While Annie remained steadfast, managing the home and caring for their children, the physical and emotional distance grew. Both later admitted that they began to drift apart, their once effortless connection strained by conflicting schedules and the weight of public life. By 1982, after 15 years of marriage, the couple made the painful decision to divorce. John acknowledged that his relentless pursuit of musical success and his deep commitment to his work had overshadowed the relationship. Annie, for her part, expressed sadness but also acceptance, recognizing that love sometimes changes shape rather than disappearing entirely. Their separation was not marked by public acrimony but by mutual respect, each understanding that their shared history and the family they had built would always connect them. Even as their romantic partnership ended, the affection and gratitude remained, allowing them to co-parent their children and maintain a bond rooted in their past love. The love story of John and Annie Denver endures far beyond the years they spent as husband and wife. Annie's song remains a testament to the profound connection they shared, a melody that continues to inspire couples and music lovers around the world. For John, who tragically died in a plane crash in 1997, the song is an eternal message of devotion and wonder, encapsulating the essence of love as something as vast and life-giving as nature itself. For Annie, now in her late 70s, the music is both a cherished memory and a living tribute. She has spoken of the bittersweet emotions she feels when hearing the song, describing it as proof that their love, though transformed, was undeniably real. Their story also highlights the human side of fame. Behind the bright lights and roaring applause were two people navigating the same challenges of commitment, distance, and change that many couples face. Their journey, from youthful courtship to marriage, parenthood, and eventual separation, offers a reminder that love can be both fragile and eternal. John Denver's broader legacy as a musician, environmentalist, and humanitarian remains vibrant, but it is his personal love story with Annie that adds a layer of humanity to his legend. Through every note of Annie's song, listeners can feel the depth of emotion that inspired it, making the piece not just a chart-topping hit, but a timeless ode to love itself. In the end, John and Annie's relationship stands as a poignant example of how love can inspire art, how art can preserve love, and how both can outlive the people who first gave them life. John Denver's artistry did more than define a generation. It planted seeds that continue to bloom in today's musical landscape. Contemporary folk-pop artists like Ed Sheeran, Brandi Carlile, and Jason Mraz often cite Denver's work as a guiding influence, praising his ability to blend heartfelt storytelling with memorable melodies. His emphasis on acoustic instrumentation and nature-inspired lyrics helped pave the way for the modern Americana and indie folk movements that dominate festivals and streaming playlists today. Beyond music, Denver's environmental advocacy resonates in a world increasingly concerned about climate change and sustainability. From his early support of the World Hunger Project to his passionate speeches about preserving wilderness, Denver demonstrated how a celebrity could use fame for positive change, long before activist artist became common. Annie Denver, too, remains an emblem of quiet strength, occasionally speaking at events that honor John's memory and the causes they once shared. In classrooms and coffee houses, Annie's song is still strummed by aspiring guitarists learning their first chords, a living testament to its universal appeal. The love story behind it continues to inspire books, documentaries, and countless wedding playlists, ensuring that the Denver legacy is not just a relic of the past, but a vibrant influence on present and future generations. Through every cover version, every environmental initiative that bears his name, and every heartfelt tribute by new musicians, John Denver's spirit endures, proof that a simple melody and an honest heart can echo across decades.